Black Friday spending is expected to hit nearly 3.8 billion in the UK, which is up 27% on last year. And today I am chatting with Anna Frapwell, founder of digital marketing agency Neon Digital Clicks, and we are going to be talking all about things Black Friday and ads. Now, Anna, you have been a regular guest on the podcast, but for those who are listening for the first time, could you introduce yourself and Neon?
My name's Anna and I run Neon Digital Clicks. We are an e-commerce growth agency and we support our clients across a broad range of platforms from Meta ads, Google ads and email marketing to support them with really understanding their numbers and enabling them to scale and grow profitably.
Thank you so much, and thank you very much for being a guest again on the podcast. A favourite of mine. And so we're recording this, it's the end of October and Black Friday is a month away. So ideally, when should people start building that audience for Black Friday and what should their focus be when it comes to ads?
Ultimately, it's never too late. That's what I wanted to get across really, is that it's never too late to think about Black Friday. So don't sit here now thinking, oh, I've not done anything, it's too late, and just kind of ignore it and let it pass you by. So it's never too late, but we are thinking about Black Friday all year. We're thinking about quarter all year. So it's something that we work towards and build towards throughout the whole year. And ultimately, it's because it's a such great opportunity to drive revenue, but it's also such a competitive period of the year. So the earlier you can start and you can start building audiences and you can start on your strategies, just the better prepared you are for that, and you're kind of putting yourself a bit ahead of the game, really. So there is no kind of, this is the date you need to start your Black Friday. As early as possible is great. We have clients that, we're working with quite close up to the date, but then equally we have clients that are much more prepared and we're supporting them much earlier on in the year. But what I would say is it's never too late. The beauty of Black Friday is everyone's in that mindset to buy. They are in the right mindset. You're getting in front of people that are ready to purchase from you and want to purchase from you. So the appetite is really strong. Where it's complicated and difficult is that there's more competition. So it's about how do you strategize around Black Friday.
What would be then your top tips or your checklist of strategizing around Black Friday?
Yeah, there's so much that you can do, and I think it's very unique to the business. And one thing that I would always say is and this is why it's good to start early, it's like understanding what is it that you want to achieve from Black Friday. Is it that you have stock that you want to push through? Is it that you've got sitting stock that you need to release so that you are releasing cash in the business because you need to push through that so that you can bring new stuff in? Is that your core goal? Is it that you want to use it as an opportunity to bring in new customers to your business, introduce them to your business, make it broaden the amount of people that you're getting to? Is it that you want to increase your lifetime value, so you kind of acquired some customers, can you get them to purchase more from you? So what is it that you want to achieve with Black Friday is the first question you need to ask yourself. And then once you know that, you can then kind of pull out and go, right, okay, in order to achieve that, this is what we need to do. In order to increase our lifetime value, actually, let's focus on email marketing. So let's work with our existing customers. Let's nurture them through email marketing. If it's new customers that you want to bring in, then you will need to think about maybe starting a bit earlier, building your email list and working in that way. Or it may be that you go really aggressive with an offer. So it's not this is what you need to do.
Yeah,
it's very much about being clear on what you want to use Black Friday for. So don't go into it thinking it's really competitive, I've got to just slash all my prices, but not knowing why. Yeah. It's understanding that piece.
I think it's so true, because there'll be some people that are listening that don't have the stock to, they need to hold on to that stock because they've, they're in a position where that's the stock that was going to last them to Christmas, and it's maybe they've had a better season than they expected to, and they're a bit low on stock and they can't get back into it, or whatever it might be. And then you're on the reverse side of that, you'll have people that are sitting on mountains of stock, and like you say, that stock is cash that they need back into their business, and would need to be going more aggressive with their discounting. during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and that whole kind of Cyber Week, as it now is really, hopefully businesses will attract lots of new customers. How can you ensure your Black Friday customers work for you and they don't just come in and dip in for the discount and then disappear?
I mean, there's always going to be an element of that because it's a bit like when you have a business that decides that they're going to run competitions or collaborate on competitions to drive sign-ups to an email list. You're just going to get those people that are in it for the competition, in it for a discount, in it for a bargain. So there is that. But the things that you can do to ensure that you are not just acquiring a customer, but you're keeping a customer is really stepping up your customer service, making sure that that whole purchasing journey, it should be great anyway, but are you doing everything you possibly can? Are you getting the products out? Just because you've sold lots, don't expect people to wait even longer to receive them. Ensure that you're really following up on that post-purchase journey as well. Bringing them into your email list, make sure you're nurturing them, make sure that you are then putting out offers after Black Friday. And I don't mean like another discount. I mean products in front of them that are related to the products they've purchased. Can you get them to buy something else? Can you then put your gifting opportunities in front of them? So making sure that you're not just thinking about acquiring that customer, you're thinking beyond that acquisition and where that then goes for you and your business, because you are going to take a hit on acquiring that customer. It is going to cost you. So you then need to make it work for you after Black Friday.
Would you say then to change your flows temporarily, that nurture sequence that you may have set up or that you hopefully have set up, just for that few weeks after?
I wouldn't necessarily say change it. Some of the things that we've done is we've got specific segments that are formed as part of the Black Friday activity that's happening. And so then they will be pushed through a different flow. So we do have that. You don't really want to go in and change anything that you've got set up and working well for you, but you can certainly test and bring in kind of strategies around what you're doing on Black Friday to amplify. I mean, like, for example, it's no different to, with some clients, we've got products that are an absolute bestseller for them. They just, whatever, they just sell. And so those products actually have their own unique email flows around them, because we know that if someone's added that to cart and they've abandoned it, we can really nurture them in a very different way to get them to purchase. Or if they've bought that particular item, we know post-purchase what we can do with that person to then get them to buy more. So it's no different to those kind of strategies that you can use at other times of the year as well.
So from what you've seen, what is the messaging and activity that gets the best return on investment?
I mean, it's a really competitive time. So don't try to be too clever. Just you're getting in front of the right people, unless you've got vast amounts of money to spend on kind of, big strategies and branding exercises and things like that. It's a real kind of get in front of the right people with clear, concise messaging, tell them what they want to know, and when they have a really clear call to action to get them to where they want to get to. It's also about making sure that, we've seen it before where you kind of see an ad running and you'll click on it and you'll go to the landing page, and then you've kind of not even 100% sure whether you've clicked on the right thing because you've not been sent to the right place. So it's really making sure that the whole journey speaks the same language, that you've got the offer on your ad, and then when you land on the landing page, the same offer is there. You don't want to give your potential customer any opportunity to drop off. It's about kind of keeping them on the right track to then clicking and making that final purchase. So clear, concise, also making sure that your imagery is really impactful. There's going to be a lot of noise. Some of the things that we find work really well sometimes, and we'll test it alongside other things, but last year what worked really well for most of our clients was just literally sale on a graphic, or the discount on a graphic, and it was just enough to get people to go, right, okay, I know you've done all this work building me up to this. I know who this is. I understand that. I'll click on it and I'll buy. And that's why sometimes it's so important to start early, because you do all this kind of groundwork. So getting that final click on Black Friday, happens a lot more seamlessly, and you don't have to do so much explanation. So yeah, so clear pops of colour. It doesn't have to be black. We had a client last year that performed really, really well on really vibrant pops of colour, with Black Friday sale as the messaging. So it's about kind of having a really broad mix of creative, because different things are going to resonate with different people.
Yeah, and you also want, even when you are targeting that same person, for it not to look like they're being shown the same thing every time. They've just got bored of it. You know, they didn't click on it the first time, they're probably not going to click on it the fifth time. So you need, like you say, you need to have that different bank of things.
Different things are going to appeal to different people. The other thing, top tip, is, and one thing that we try to do is we try to make our Black Friday ads relatively generic, so that if they can work the following year, we can use the same ad creative. And if it's got a lot of social proof on it, so it's got a lot of likes and comments, it's going to put you ahead of the game when you launch it this Black Friday. So we've got a client that we're launching ads for this Black Friday. They're running the same offer. We've got imagery that will work this year as it did last year. So we're not relying solely on that creative, but that is going to become part of the overall mix of creative. So we've got creative coming in that we're utilising from last year that has comments, likes, engagement on it, and that will sit alongside other creative.
And with ads then, when do you turn them on for Black Friday? You know,
turn an ad on before the offer's live on your website. So it's got to be the moment it's live on your website, turn the ad on. You can drive people to, like if you've got like a landing page for Black Friday, you can start driving people to that landing page with a kind of countdown of when that offer's going to go live. Things like that work really well, because then you're just starting ahead of things and you're driving traffic there as well.
And when you're in that Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, what should you be keeping an eye on with your ads? What can kind of go wrong, I suppose?
So wrong, it goes wrong on Black Friday. But yeah, it's really important to, you know, we're all hands on deck over Black Friday, because it's, as I joked, if it, you know, there is so much going on, so much spend going on, that sometimes things do happen, and inevitably, if you're talking about Google or Meta, something quite often goes wrong. So it's being vigilant and keeping an eye on everything and making sure that things are performing, that spend doesn't stall, that something doesn't get shut down, that cards work. So sometimes, you know, a credit card might get declined or whatever. So it's making sure that you've got numerous methods of payment there, just in case something goes wrong, so that if Meta's running payment to one credit card, that it can drop down to a different payment method. So it's those kind of simple things, making sure they're in place. But it's going into that weekend, it's so important to have a really clear understanding of what we talked about at the beginning, in terms of knowing what you want to achieve from the weekend, but also understanding what's the lowest you're prepared to go in terms of return on ad spend. What's the highest you're prepared to go in terms of cost per acquisition? What are you trying to achieve? Is what you're doing achieving what you've set out to achieve? If it is, then we scale, and we'll scale throughout the day, we'll scale across the whole weekend, and we try to scale as aggressively as we can to capitalize on that opportunity as it comes through. But you can't do that if you're not clear on what it is that you want to achieve and where you can take your numbers. And you have to be mindful of the fact that you're in a really competitive space, and it may be that your cost per acquisition is slightly higher than you would like it, or that it may be that you have to take a hit on your return on ad spend over the weekend. But that's when post-purchase then becomes really important, and knowing that you've got a strategy post-purchase for taking those people that you may have acquired at a higher price through to the rest of the year.
And what about tweaking things then in that time frame if they're not working?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a complex thing to explain, but ultimately every ad in your ad account should be in there because it's serving a purpose. So you can't make snap decisions on ads that potentially aren't performing, because ultimately the way Meta is set up now, it's all working as part of a mix. So you may see that an ad isn't actually achieving a return that you'd like it to achieve, but when you look at some of the softer stats and you look at the click-through rates that ad's achieving, it may be that that's kind of working as part of an early stage of your funnel, and other ads are actually converting. So although the setup of Meta ads has been simplified, actually understanding what's happening within those campaigns has become a bit more complex.
And I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this for me, but if small businesses they generally spend X per month on their ads, or per week, per day, whatever it might be, and what, for them to be seen in this time, what kind of percentage increase do they need to be spending on their ads?
I mean, again, that is such a hard question to answer, because there's so many factors that come into play. It's not just about the competition, it's also about how their ad account's performing at the moment. And so if they've got a well-oiled ad account, you don't necessarily need to be thinking about massive increases in spend. But if you've got an ad account that isn't particularly performing very well, then you will have to spend more. So it's kind of something that we look at as part of auditing accounts. Is we'll go, okay, so how is this account performing, and where does Black Friday need to take them, as well as kind of supporting people with understanding their numbers and if you're acquiring a customer at this cost, what's their lifetime value, what are you going to get back as a result, and things like that. So yeah, it's a really difficult one to give you a percentage or a figure on, because there are so many factors that contribute to that spend.
Yeah. And what about after Black Friday then, and transitioning their ad strategy then onto Christmas and holiday shopping?
Yeah, so I mean that's the beauty of Black Friday. You go into Black Friday and it's kind of everyone's in this buying frenzy, and you come out of Black Friday and we're still in this buyer's mindset. So it's a great time to take even more advantage of those new customers that you've brought in. Maybe those customers that actually have seen your ads but didn't purchase on Black Friday, they still form part of that kind of world that you've acquired over Black Friday for you to then go out and retarget. And that Christmas period is very much, well, holiday season is very much about kind of understanding what are your most popular items, what are your most giftable items, and really pushing those items over that Christmas period, and really understanding your audience as well, and making sure that you are speaking directly to that audience and what they want from your business.
And then just on Black Friday, in terms of the types of offers, what works the best? What works well? Or what should people be at least looking at and trying?
So, as always, comes back to what you're trying to achieve. So what are your objectives for Black Friday? What is it that you want to get out of it? And we talked about, discounts, making sure that discounts work for you. And, if you haven't got the product to sell, then you can't discount it. But if your objective is that you've got a load of stock that didn't sell and you just want to get the cash back, then that will help you understand what sort of offer you can be putting against those products. One thing that we encourage our clients to do is, if you are a business that runs regular discounts throughout the year, when it comes to Black Friday, you need to think about a bigger discount than you typically run. So if you quite often run a 20% discount, you need to take it up a notch for Black Friday. If you are a business that never discounts, you have the opportunity to offer a smaller discount, because your customers aren't used to that. It's a great opportunity. You never discount, so here's your opportunity to get some money off, but you don't have to make it such a big discount. The other thing to think about is bundling. So that's another great thing to do. So if you've got products that are of a lower average order value, you don't want to be discounting those. And you don't want to be putting yourself in a really difficult position financially over Black Friday just because it's Black Friday. So think about bundling things. How can you stack offers? How can you get people to buy more, and maybe the discount increases the more they buy? Can you gamify the offer. So, we've got another client that has a really successful offer that they run over Black Friday, where they will have random gifts, and they are high value gifts, but you don't know if you're going to get one of these gifts in your purchase over that weekend. But it's definitely worth playing the game, because if you do get one, it's a brilliant offer. So there's lots of things that you can do outside of a straight discount, and I'd encourage brands to think about that more strategically as well.
And what are the things that you've seen that have helped really increase that average order value and getting more people to add things to cart?
Yeah, so things like adding an app like Upcart is really important, making sure that that's been added, so that it's not just about your offer, but how can you make those people that are on your website going through that customer journey then keep adding more to their basket. Because ultimately you're paying to acquire a customer through ads. The more you can get them to spend when they land on your website, the better that is for you in terms of your return on investment. So how can you kind of encourage them to spend more once they've landed there? And sometimes subscriptions are a great opportunity. So if you've got a product that lends itself quite nicely to a subscription, that can sometimes be a nice hook to get people to sign up to your subscription, to get replenished items regularly every month, every 2 months, something like that. So don't just stop at we've got a discount, we've got a product, this is it, we just want to sell them. Think about kind of how can you extend that further, and Upcart's a brilliant app to include.
And from your experience, and I suppose it will depend on kind of the messaging, and that it will depend on what results people want to get. But obviously you've got straight discount, multi-buys, bundle offers. What about spend and save? Do people get that? Do understand it, or do they prefer, from what you've seen, do they prefer straight discount?
I mean, we've just started working with a brand that did a spend and save last year, and I was really interested looking into their numbers, because that worked really well for them. And I think that if you are looking at a toy brand or something like that, where it works very well for that audience, then I think a spend, if it's targeted to your customer, I think it can work really well, and it makes sense to your customer, then an offer like that can work really well.
As like you say, if it's a toy brand, then, and you've got like spend £200, get
Exactly.
£30 off, or save. I mean, sometimes it depends on the messaging. Sometimes it's usually spend this monetary value and get a percentage off, or spend the monetary value and get a monetary value off.
Yeah.
But and there's incremental ones. Spend 500, get 100 off, or whatever it might be. And like you say, if it's a gift brand, or toys being a gift for Christmas, you would just do all your Christmas shopping, wouldn't you? You would just get it all done in that time.
And on that, the discount versus a actual monetary, that messaging usually performs better if you're giving them the amount that they're going to get back. So rather than saying 20% off, if you actually say this is the money that you get back, they usually perform better than an actual percentage discount, even if the percentage works out better than the money equation. It's just the way the brain works. It's when we've tested those alongside each other, it's always tell them exactly the money that they're going to get back will perform better.
And what about after Black Friday then, and transitioning that ad strategy? What are the opportunities that people can capitalize on?
Yeah.
After Black Friday.
So one of the things that works really well is if you've got your customer loyalty program set up, and utilizing those so that you can put very curated offers in front of people that work well for gifting. Again, if you have gifting, it's something that you have as part of your product mix, but it's getting those people in, nurturing them further, and customer loyalty programs are an excellent way to do it, because people will be looking for ways that they can save money with their gifting. And if you can, it's so much easier to convert someone that's already converted than acquiring new customers. So the more energy you can place into your existing audience that you've brought in through Black Friday, the better.
And Anna, thank you so much for your words of wisdom today. Where can people find you, and how can they work with you?
Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram at Neon Digital Clicks. And
for those who don't know, Anna and Digital Clicks are the sponsor of the podcast. So you will have heard me talk about their program, On Way to Results. which is a fantastic new program that Anna and the team are running.
Yeah, it's a great program actually, because it's a fast action program. It's no long-term contracts. We're seeing great results with it, and it's just a way of, if certainly for brands that are unsure of their numbers, what sort of cost per acquisitions they can achieve, it's a great way to get those numbers and that data in. We'll then crunch them with you, and we can then show you what scale could look like. So it's great.
Anna, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll be back again next week with another great guest.